Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Bits, the show that recaps your weekly gaming news for you while simultaneously ensuring I stay single forever. Our top story this week, EA shits the bed again. EA has reportedly scrapped development of their open world Star Wars game under development over at EA Vancouver. This continues EA's rocky history with the Star Wars license, as EA has managed to ship only 2 Star Wars games in their 5 years with it. And saying that Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 count as 2 different games is a bit like saying an Arby's roast beef and a Junior Bacon and Cheddar are 2 different sandwiches. Sure, they're technically distinct, but they'll both leave you with the same bad taste in your mouth and lingering doubt about your life choices. Following the apparent cancellation, EA released a statement in which they declared that they remain committed to making Star Wars games, which at this point is about as meaningful as me saying I remain committed to winning the Miss Universe contest. Sure, I may look great in a dress, but I'm not going to get past the swimsuit round. It's just not happening. EA also stated that the development hadn't been cancelled, but merely evolved, which is a strange term to use coming from the company that's killed more studios than the Wu-Tang Clan has members. EA saying development had to evolve is like the wolf telling Little Red Riding Hood that Granny had to adapt to the inside of its stomach. After all, EA's history reads like names on a war memorial. Just ask Maxis how EA's evolutionary process worked out for them, or Bullfrog, or Westwood, or Origin, or New FX, or Pandemic, or Playfish, or Black Box, or Danger Close, or Phenomic, or Mythic, or Visceral. All we can say is, good luck EA Vancouver, you're gonna need it. Trouble continues for the online multiplayer trash fire known as Fallout 76. A number of players were apparently able to access a secret dev room. Inside the room is a number of containers with every single item in the game and a single human NPC named Wooby, which is notable because he's so far the only NPC to appear in the game. Wooby has no dialogue or quest to give, which still makes him the best written character in a Bethesda game. Now, the secret room apparently also contains some items that hadn't yet actually been released and are likely intended to be content for upcoming patches. Of course, entrepreneurial players took this as an opportunity to make a quick buck by taking and selling some of these ill-gotten gains to other players, which has resulted in a number of bans by Bethesda, in addition to bans being handed to some players that simply accessed the room. It remains unclear how players were able to access the room, so we reached out to Todd Howard for clarification.
It just works.
Thanks, Todd. We also reached out to Wooby for information on the breach, but it turns out that Wooby ain't no snitch. The real-world private security and detective agency Pinkerton is suing Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar Games for having included the agency as a prominent antagonist in Red Dead Redemption 2. The claim alleges trademark infringement for the use of their name. However, Take-Two's response notes that the Pinkerton National Detective Agency was in fact a major player in law enforcement in the historical American West, and that many other movies and books have referenced and depicted the agency. Now, they also note that they use the historical name and badges of the agency rather than their modern incarnations. It seems likely that Pinkerton is just trying to get a handout from the massive success of the game. But Pinkerton may want to rethink pissing off a potential client. Let's not forget that Rockstar has faced scrutiny for alleged 100-hour work weeks and anti-worker practices, and given that Pinkerton is best known for their often violent work as strikebreakers and anti-union operatives, the two companies may actually be a match made in hell. BioWare has said that Anthem will include matchmaking support for all activities in the game, although most content can also be completed solo. BioWare has said nothing about the criteria the matchmaking function will use to bring players together, but we'd like to suggest that they put the assholes together and keep them away from everyone else. Now, how would you know that, you ask? Well, it's easy. Just check to see if they have Madden NFL installed on their Origin account. More information about Mortal Kombat 11 was shown off on Thursday at a big reveal event hosted by developer NetherRealm Studios. The event showed off a number of characters, including fan favorites Scorpion and Sub-Zero, as well as returning characters Sonya, Baraka, Raiden, Scarlet, and new character Geras. The reveal highlighted new mechanics, customization options, and the game's trademark over-the-top fatalities. There was some speculation before the event that NetherRealm Studios might tone down the gore a bit in order to be more appealing to the esports market, but we can safely say that that's not the case. Before the reveal, I didn't know what it would look like if someone was punched so hard in the head their brain flew out through their face. But now I know that, as well as what my lunch looks like on the floor. In other fighting gaming news, Bandai Namco has teased a new Dragon Ball game as well as the next character for the popular fighting game Dragon Ball fighterz. While the first season of fighterz came to an end in September once Android 17 had been released, the company stated on Twitter that the warrior from Universe 11 is joining the fight. Soon after, a scan from the recent Japanese magazine Shonen Jump showed Super Saiyan Blue Goku clashing with Jiren and the Dragon Ball fighterz logo right next to them. For those unfamiliar, Jiren is a member of the Pride Troopers, is really strong, and has less backstory than my Egg McMuffin sandwich. As of press time, there was no indication that the new character would actually make Dragon Ball fighterz fun. Finally, Steam has announced upcoming changes to its digital distribution platform. The most important of these is its new recommendation engine, which will now be powered by machine learning artificial intelligence, which will supposedly match players to games based on their individual tastes. That sounds great, but I think they've got some kinks to work out. After all, when I tried an early build, it just recommended every hentai game on the site. That's it for this week. Thank you again for joining me, and before you head out, hit that like button and subscribe button. I'll see you next week. Until then, keep it classy. This week's existential crisis comes from ClockDead asking, my existential crisis question was brought about after watching a speed run of F-Zero GX where the player defined what I believe was humanly possible. I thought I was good at F-Zero until I saw this player. Jay, what's the point in life if there's always someone better than you on the internet? I need your wisdom. Clocked it. Sometimes it's someone showing you up in F-Zero. Sometimes it's you walking in on your best friend banging your wife. The point is, people suck. Luckily, most games have single player modes to ensure we can claim those top leaderboards for ourselves and never have to deal with facing the reality that we suck. Keep on grinding those top scores and be sure it doesn't sync up with the online servers. Until next time, keep it classy.